Hey everybody, I've got a new project here today. This is a John Deere SST riding mower. I got it for $150. It runs and it drives pretty well. It does not mow, and it also doesn't have a hood. So one of the things I wanted to work on today was seeing if I could figure out why it doesn't mow, and we can try to figure it out together and see what happens. Here's a little walk around of the mower. It has this zero turn feature. It's a little bit different than a lot of them. The rear wheels do the turning, and the front wheels are basically like casters, and they just spin around. It's a little bit tricky to get used to driving it. If you're driving slow, it's a little bit difficult to maneuver. If you're going faster, it's not too bad. The seat's all shredded on it, so I just have a bag over it to keep my behind from getting wet when I'm riding it. I'll get a seat cover of some kind at some point. Here's the engine on it. It's a 16 horse V-twin Briggs engine. It runs well, like I said. It starts well. I think the battery might be getting close to its end life. I've had to jump it a few times. Today I did not have to jump it, so maybe it's just getting low, or it's low from, not being run very much. I ran it a bunch yesterday. It has a trailer hitch on it, and I used it to pull a small trailer yesterday, and I loaded it up with dirt and used the mower to pull the dirt into my backyard. I have a garden back there, and I want to keep it full of dirt, and the garden, I didn't want to. I've got my truck too, but the ground is wet, and the truck is going to make big ruts in the ground, so I decided just to use the mower instead with a trailer. So that's how I did that. Alright, so let's take a look at some stuff here and see if we can figure out why this isn't running. I'll show you what it does, and that way you can have an idea of what it's doing. So there you go, there's the battery. So this is the electric PTO. So this turns on the electric solenoid or electric clutch to get the deck to turn. And as soon as I pull that, it dies. So if I push this, so I'm going to try a couple different things to see if I can keep it running, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to start it again, and then I'm going to lower the deck. And see, I think the deck is already lowered. Yeah, so the deck. All right, the deck's lowered there, so I'm going to try a couple different things here and see if it makes any difference in getting this not to die when I pull the PTO here. Doesn't like that. So I'll try it again with the deck lowered. Alright, deck's lowered. Nope, doesn't like that. So we'll try one more thing here on this. I'm going to rev the engine up and see if that makes any difference. Alright, so I wasn't expecting that. I tried this a couple times the other day and it always just dies. It never would do anything but die. So this time you can see the PTO did turn on and it grabbed, and it looks like the deck started to spin. But as you saw, I don't know if you can see it or not, but smoke started coming out from underneath the deck here. So I'm going to guess that what's going on is it might be either the PTO is bad or maybe one of the spindles is locked up on the deck. So I was hoping it was something easy like the PTO switch, but it looks to me like it's going to be a spindle or some other thing that's getting hung up underneath here. So we'll have to start digging into that a little bit. Okay, I've never had the deck off of one of these John Deeres before, so I'm going to take a peek underneath here and see what kind of tools I'm going to need to do it. Looks like I need a wrench or pliers to pull the pin out here. And then I think on the front it has this hook, and hopefully that's, if I take those pins out, this hook just comes apart. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. I don't think you're going to be able to see much, and you kind of get the idea. It's just a pin in there anyway, so we'll go from there. I'll show you what it looks like when I get the deck off. Okay, so this is the driver's side of the mower, and one thing I was struggling with here, took me a little bit to figure it out, but you need to release the belt, the drive belt, which is this one up here, and it's on there really tight, and I thought maybe I could shuffle this around a little bit and it would come loose, but it really doesn't. And I searched Google and I was not finding anything on how to remove the tension, but then I finally found that there's a pivot under here. Hopefully you can see that. There's a hole here and a hole here, and this end I should be able to hook this end. Maybe my hook might be too big, but I'll see if I can get it. I have to pull this piece of metal loose. When I do, it should allow. There, I'm hooked in there. So there we go. So this, I had to have this released. And now that this is released, I should be able to get my drive belt off of there, and then I should be able to get the whole deck out. So that's what I'm going to do next. All right. So here's the deck that I got removed. Luckily, it's in very nice shape. There isn't really any rust on it at all. A lot of times these will get big holes in them from water sitting. You know, underneath, I guess I haven't flipped it over yet, so we'll see how bad that is. So there's a spindle under here that's covered up, and then you got a spindle over here that you can see that is kind of open and free. And if you take this belt off, if we take this belt off, which we'll have to do, then we can see if there's anything wrong. I think this might have a problem from my first initial glance, but we'll have to take the belt off and see what we get here. Alright, so the belt, I got the belt loose, and see if it does this still. I don't know if you can see that or not. Make sure I got it in frame here. This does not turn at all. So this is no bueno. You can see that. I can't even turn it. So I need a new one of these. Or bearings for it, one of the two. So my next step, I'm going to take this guy off, see how it's put together, and see what the bearings, if there's bearings in there that I can replace, or if I have to buy this whole thing, and we'll see about that. So while I get it apart, I can see this one, so I'm going to go ahead and see if this one spins. So get the belt off of there. So the mower blade is sitting on the ground, so let me see if I can lift it up a little bit. So you can see that one spins. So that's what this other one should do. Now I'll have to take the cover off to get to this other one. But let me get for this guy right here, let me go ahead and get some wrenches and stuff and see if I can get that guy off of there. Alright, so I'll show you something here that's probably not supposed to happen. See those little silver things? That's part of the bearing, and that's not supposed to be there. So if you look in there, you can see there's pieces missing. So this is not good. So this does not look like, well, actually, if you look, you can see the seal there. So this was a sealed bearing. See the seal? Piece of rubber. Part of the bearing is still on there, so I'll have to hammer that off somehow. But I'm gonna have to come back to this in a few days because I need to figure out what parts I need to fix this. Alright, so I got to get this bearing through here, out of here. I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to do this. They do have a couple of points here where you can use a puller I might have to go somewhere and see if I can get a puller that I can use to pull that out. So I'm not sure exactly how I would do that otherwise. There's a spacer in there too. I don't know, maybe if I can just pound maybe I can just pound both of them out at the same, pound them both out at the same time, something like that. So I'll get set up to do that and see if I can do that, because this spacer might push the other one through. There goes nothing. I'm going to try something different. I did a little bit of looking online to see what might work to do this, and what I found is you can move there's a spacer inside here, but you should be able to move the spacer to the side enough that you can hit the bottom bearing. So I'm going to try to do that. So right now I'm just trying to get the spacer out of the way. And let me see if maybe on the top might be easier to do first. Or actually, let's do this. Alright. There we go. So now I got the spacer. I don't know if you can be able to see it or not. But I got the spacer off to one side there. So I'm going to try to come in on the other side here. Alright, so I can hit the edge of that bearing. So hopefully I can hit this with a hammer and start working it back, working it down. How about that? Wow, that was easy. Alright, so I need to keep track of how this goes together. So I was trying to figure out, so this is actually the back of that other bearing. So this bearing right here, I don't know if you can see all the way through there, so this came off of the back of this other bearing. So now I'll pound this one out, we'll be ready to go. That's in there pretty good. It's not wanting to move. Dare I? Nope, it's not going to fit. Oh, it's moving. It's moving now, so I just got a little bit more to go, it looks like. Cool, got it out. There's one of the bearings and part of the cage. So you can see how much of a mess that was. So I got to clean this guy up a little bit. Not worth going too crazy. I'll just clean the grease off of it. And I am waiting for my bearings to get here. They're supposed to be here today. And when those get here, I'll keep going with that. In the meantime, I think I'm going to clean up the rest of the deck, sharpen the blades, and grease things as much as I can. While I was cleaning up the deck, my parts came in. These are from Amazon, obviously, and let's see what do we got here. You know, I got a little bit more work to do. I did not notice this, but I've got the center of my bearing, but I don't have the outside. The outside is still stuck in here. But I got my bearings from Amazon. I'll save this. You guys don't have to watch me work on this again, but we'll be back in a second. Alright, so there's the other half of that bearing. So you can see it's very beautiful. And this one is the one that was on the other side. You can see it does still spin, so it's probably still good. I should have, and I'm going to take off my gloves because I don't want to get these dirty in case that's the wrong one, because I'm going to have to return them if they're the wrong thing. They look like the same thing. I'm going to do it. Alright, I don't have a press, so I'm just going to pound these in. I guess I could put this in the freezer and put this and heat this guy up. Let's try this first though. I've got that one's closer to the right size, so I'm going to use this as my punch. That's it. Now, I got to put my spacer back in here. I'm going to clean this guy up a little bit and then put some grease in it. This you can't really tell, but right here on there's a side that got ground down really good, and that's probably from that bearing going bad. So I'll clean that up, drop this in here, and then put the other bearing in. Well, it's all together. Hopefully it's not too tight. Alright, it's a new day with the mower, and I started looking back at my old video and I realized that I put something together wrong. So that piece, the spindle piece with the new bearings, I put that on upside down, and the pulleys are different sizes, and I'm pretty sure that's why I'm having so much trouble getting this to go back together. So I'm going to take this apart and show you, after I get it taken apart, what I missed, and all I need to do is flip that back over again and it should be good to go. Okay, so on an SST16 mower, this is what the deck looks like with the belts on it. So the belt goes around this idler pulley, goes around the right side, and then it comes around and it goes to the left side, and then it goes around this drive pulley in the back. And you can see it goes around the idler pulley with the belt underneath there like that. So that's how that should be routed. Okay, so I got the deck out here again, and you can see these pulleys, there's a big difference in the size, and I got it flipped upside down, so I need to flip it over and put it on the right way. Alright, to reattach your deck, the back pins, what you need to do is lower down the pedal that raises up the brake, and what you do is you have to slide this backwards, put the pins in, and then there's a cotter key that goes on the back, or maybe just your hand, and it's just putting the pin in from the back like that, and then you got this clip that you put through here, and that holds that in place. And then we'll repeat the same thing on the other side. I can put my belt from onto the pulley on the back here, and I can hook it into the front here as well. All right. And then the next thing I want to do, I don't know if it matters which order I do this in, but I'm going to go ahead and put the spring assembly in. And what this does is it allows you to tension the the PTO drive belt here, drive pulley, to the deck power transfer pulley. So I put this back here, and you may not be able to see this, but there's a hole on here. See if I can show it to you. So there's a hole on here, and this goes over the top of this pulley, and then it goes over the front here. I don't know if I'll be able to show you this very well, but this metal piece goes up here like that. Alright, so this bar goes like this, and then there's a handle. You push it in, and that restores your tension right there on that belt. Alright, and then the next thing you have to do is hook your spring back up. It's going to be pretty tight. Alright, so everything's hooked back together now, the way it's supposed to be under there. So you got your handle tensioned, you got your spring on, you got your belt between the PTO and the deck drive pulley in the back there. Alright, so the last thing you need to do is hook up this bar in the front. I took this apart. I don't know if it's necessary to take it apart. I did. So we'll put this back together, see what we get. So on the front of here, this is somewhat self-explanatory. There's a bolt right here that this triangle thing goes into. So what I want to do is I want to put this in here, and then I want to get this inside. Actually, maybe I can do it the other way around first. Alright, so I'm going to take this off, put it through here. See, there's a little pressure relief thing there. So we're going to put this whole thing through here, there, including the pressure release piece. So that goes like that, and then this part hooks onto the blade. So this may not go in all the way, but it looks like I can loosen this up and slide it in there, and then I can snug it down a little bit. Okay, this is going to be my first attempt starting this with the deck all put back together with the new bearings in it. If I did everything right, it should start up and it should drive with the belts on. Alright, I'm going to try this again. Cross my fingers there's no smoke this time. So I actually routed the belt incorrectly when I put this back together, and that happened to me last time. It was a little bit confusing how the belt was supposed to go and how it went around to the idler pulley, and the pivot that holds the idler pulley gets in the way, and you can't bypass it. It's going to drag. So let's try this again. No whammies. Alright, no smoke this time, no burning belt. So the reason I knew it was on wrong last time is that I could smell burning belt. It has a very distinct smell if you haven't smelled it before. So I knew that's what it was, and that's how I found out that I had the pulley, or the belt wrapped around the pulley incorrectly. So this is working. I think it's working like it's supposed to. Had a little bit of smoke, but that was coming from up front, from the engine. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up stuff as much as I can. I'm going to mow the perimeters of my yard with a hand mower, push mower, and then I'm going to try to use this in the yard and make sure it works. Yes.
zero turn for now. It's running great. Got to get the height of the cut figured out. Might do some maintenance on it in the future. I've got about $270 wrapped up into this, plus my labor. So the mower was $150, and then I spent say $22 on 4 bearings. I used 2 of them. I didn't really buy anything else for this. It came with gas in it already, and before I started filming, I actually used it to haul a bunch of dirt into my backyard. It worked awesome for that, and that's about it. Thanks for watching.